So I definitely think that there's going to be a lot of input from Khabib in trying to get Islam to shoot the takedown often and early, but there's going to be no rush and no panic. I mean, this guy is cool, calm, collected, and composed, and he's a phenomenal fighter. So
it's an interesting fight because the crazy thing is that Islam Makhachev is quite a sizable favorite according to DraftKings, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure I saw that online earlier this morning. And I think that's a little bit disrespectful to Jack Della Maddalena. The man's on an 18-fight winning streak.
Islam Makhachev is all set to make his debut in the welterweight division in a title fight against the champ Jack Della Maddalena on November 15th at UFC 322.
The main event, UFC welterweight champion Jack Della Maddalena defends his belt for the first time when he takes on former UFC lightweight champion Islam Makhachev.
Islam is looking in great shape and is eager to get his second belt in the UFC. However, JDM's coach and some UFC pros have some doubts about Islam's chances against JDM. UFC legend Michael Bisping spoke about the Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena matchup and is shocked to see Islam listed as such a strong favorite. He felt the odds didn't give Jack Della Maddalena enough respect, considering his long winning streak and success against top-level grapplers. Bisping explained that Jack's boxing and footwork could be a real advantage if the fight stayed standing. He suggested fans shouldn't be surprised if Jack ended up getting the victory.
An interesting fight because the crazy thing is that Islam Makhachev is quite a sizable favorite according to DraftKings, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure I saw that online earlier this morning. And I think that's a little bit disrespectful to Jack Della Maddalena. The man's on an 18-fight winning streak. He just beat Belal Muhammad. He defended all the takedowns there. He's beaten grapplers before in the past. Yes, Islam Makhachev is incredible, and he'd be another contender for pound #1, greatest of all time, whatever you want to call it. But Belal Muhammad was a perfect warm-up fight for Islam Makhachev. And with the boxing of Jack, if Islam was to stand with him, that'd be a bad idea. With Jack's boxing and the footwork that is associated with boxing, that's going to help him. That's going to be very advantageous. He knows how to defend the takedown. He knows what he's doing off his back. He can get back to his feet. So yeah, I understand why Islam is a slight favorite, because he's tried and tested and the greatest lightweight fighter that the sport's ever seen. But don't be surprised if Jack Della Maddalena gets it done.
Robert Whittaker also analyzed the matchup and leaned toward Jack Della Maddalena. He felt Jack's toughness and determination would help him handle Islam Makhachev's wrestling pressure, and Whittaker pointed out that Jack's striking could give him the edge if the fight stayed on the feet. He also suggested Islam might hesitate with his usual takedown-heavy style, knowing Jack could threaten him even while fighting off his back.
I'm going to go Jack. I think Jack has that X factor. I think he has the gut, the grit, the determination to fight the takedowns, to fight the ground, the takedown attacks that Islam is going to go for. And I think in a striking fight, straight up, Jack is better. I think he wins in the hands. Yeah. I think Jack's got the better game to strike over 5 rounds than Islam does as well, especially if Islam is trying to go for takedowns during the fight. Yeah. I think, and this is people sleep on Jack's grappling game. They sleep on his jiu-jitsu. I don't think Islam is going to be as gun-ho with the takedowns as everybody believes, because Jack has that level of offense off his back.
Robert Whittaker compared the fight to Islam Makhachev's first meeting with Alexander Volkanovski, saying it could play out in a similar way. He believed Jack Della Maddalena was in a stronger position to capitalize on openings that Volkanovski could not. Whittaker highlighted Jack's boxing skills, noting that over 5 rounds, his reach and timing could create real problems for Islam as he tried to close the distance. While he acknowledged Islam's edge in wrestling, he pointed out that Jack had enough grappling ability to keep him honest and the striking to punish any mistakes.
From the things that I remember seeing in the Volk fight, their first pairing, I see the fight potentially going that way, but I think Jack's in a better position to take advantage of the things that Volk couldn't. I think he's got better hands, especially over 5 rounds with the longer arms and the reach, especially considering Islam's going to be trying to close that distance to get closer. Jack's tight fighting is so high level. Honestly, skill-wise, I think they both have their strengths. I don't think either one of them is overly superior in any which way. Islam would be a better wrestler, but Jack has the grappling to kind of threaten that. Not to mention, I think he's got the type boxing to make him pay for anything he doesn't pull off well.
Robert Whittaker predicted that Islam Makhachev would rely heavily on his kicking game, especially since it worked so effectively against Alexander Volkanovski. He felt Jack Della Maddalena had shown weaknesses in defending kicks, which could leave him vulnerable if Islam attacked that area consistently. Whittaker added that once Islam softened Jack up, he could mix in takedowns to control the fight. Looking at the bigger picture, he said Jack entered with nothing on the line while Islam carried all the pressure as one of MMA's biggest rising stars.
I do think Islam has got the kick superiority, and if Jack doesn't address that, which he hasn't in a lot of his fights, the kicks, he's going to get kicked a lot, okay? Islam likes throwing kicks. He used that very well against Volk as well. I think that's going to be a game plan of Islam, is try and wear him down with those kicks, take a takedown when they see him, but I can see him really going heavy in the kicks. External factors aside as well, Jack has nothing to lose.
No, he doesn't.
You know what I mean? As well. And I think Islam's got everything to lose. He's the hottest prospect right now in MMA.
Yeah.
Robert Whittaker also admitted he didn't expect Islam Makhachev to walk away from the lightweight championship. He explained that fighters usually follow trends, but in this case, it felt unusual because Islam is one of the UFC's biggest names at the moment. Whittaker thought the promotion would want to keep him holding the belt as long as possible, given his growing superstar status. That made Islam's decision even more surprising to him.
You know what I think was unexpected was the relinquishing of the lightweight title.
They don't want to do it anymore. No one can be double champ technically anymore.
I expected it in a sense that because Topuria did it, people would have to follow suit. But Islam's kind of like the poster boy right now for the UFC in terms of like mega star sort of things, right? Yeah, I didn't see them doing that, but I'm all for it. Don't get me wrong, because I think double champs is really stall the division. You know what I mean? So I'm happy the lightweight division can move on again.
However, Sean Brady says he wants Islam Makhachev to win because a fight with him would be a legacy moment and a true test of his grappling. He mentions that he would love the chance to match his skills against Islam and see who is better on the ground. Still, when it comes to making a prediction, he leans toward Jack Della Maddalena. Brady believes Jack is being overlooked as the underdog and he has the tools to pull off the upset.
Selfishly for me, I would want Islam to win because I want to fight Islam as for a legacy thing. And I think I can beat Islam. I think I can beat anybody in the world. And I want to grapple. I want my grappling to go against his grappling and see who's better. You know, I really would love for that to play out. But if I had to pick, and I know Jack would be the underdog, I would pick Jack.
Sean Brady also feels that Islam Makhachev's decision to move up in weight has thrown the division into chaos. He points out that Islam and Ilia Topuria are clearly setting up a future fight, which could shape his next move. According to Brady, a loss would likely push Islam back down to lightweight, but a win at welterweight might keep him there for a short run. He believes Islam would defend the belt once or twice before eventually vacating it or retiring.
Islam coming up is what kind of fucked up this whole division in the first place, you know, but you can't be mad at him. If I was in that situation, I'd probably be doing the same thing. But I know him and Topuria are trying to set something up. If he wins, I think he's staying at 170. I think the chances of him, I think if he loses him, there's a bigger chance of him going back down to 155 and then maybe them still doing that Ilia Topuria fight. That's how I think of it. I think if he wins at 170, he'll defend it one or two times and then he'll bounce from there. Yeah, and vacate or retire. Like those guys, they're not fighting very late into their 30s, you know, they're retiring early, so.
On the other hand, Jack Della Maddalena's coach expressed full confidence that Islam Makhachev would struggle to handle Jack's punching power. He said, unlike Belal Muhammad, Islam didn't have the same durability to absorb clean shots. The coach emphasized that Jack's knockout threat was dangerous at any moment in the fight, whether early or late. He also highlighted Jack's combination of power and conditioning as key factors that could decide the outcome.
I just don't think Islam has the chin that Belal has.
You feel like it's a situation where this is going to be an eventual down the line, like third, fourth round, or do you think people might even be shocked to see it happen earlier on?
We know for a fact if Jack clips someone clean on the chin, they can go over. So it could happen in the first minute, it could happen in the 24th minute, it could happen in the 24-minute 59 seconds, it could happen 3 rounds in. Jack likes long fights, you know, he likes to be in there, but obviously we're not getting paid for overtime, so if the opportunity arises, we're happy to take it. But Jack's cardio, as we saw, Bilal's reputedly the best like cardio in the UFC, and Jack out cardioed him. Bilal was more tired than Jack towards the end of the fight, so you know, Jack's cardio is exceptional, his power is exceptional, and yeah, I like the fight, I really do.
Jack Della Maddalena's coach, Ben Vickers, said he didn't expect Islam Makhachev to come in recklessly, noting that Islam is too composed and skilled for that. He believed Islam would still look to close the distance early and force Jack into his grappling game, even if just to wear him down. Vickers explained that staying on the feet too long would expose Islam to Jack's power, just as Bilal Muhammad experienced. Because of that, he felt Islam would want to avoid prolonged striking exchanges and bring the fight into his own world as soon as possible.
Do you think it's straight away shooting in, establishing his wrestling, getting JDM up against the fence, or do you think he goes out there and actually tries to test his striking against you guys?
No, I don't think he's going to go out and try and test his striking, but I also don't think he's going to rush. You know what I mean? He's a very composed guy. He's a very high-level, skillful person. You know, he's not going to rush and be running at Jack's hips. You know, but he is going to try and get hold of Jack as quickly as possible, even if it's just to try and tire him out in the early parts of the fight and get him into his world quickly. He will take damage from Jack as Bilal did if he's on the feet. So I'm sure he's going to not want to be there for as long as possible.
Ben Vickers also pointed out that Khabib Nurmagomedov often pushes Islam Makhachev to wrestle more aggressively, so he expects that influence to show in his fight. He believes Islam will look for takedowns early, though not desperately or recklessly. According to Vickers, Islam's composure and striking ability give him confidence to stand when needed, but the clear plan would still be to drag Jack Della Maddalena to the canvas. He described Islam as calm and calculated, never rushing but always working toward his grappling advantage.
And we've all heard Khabib in the corner really like chastising Islam when he doesn't go for the takedown. So I definitely think that there's going to be a lot of input from Khabib in trying to get Islam to shoot the takedown often and early, but there's going to be no rush and no panic. I mean, this guy's cool, calm, collected and composed, and he's a phenomenal fighter. So I think he's definitely going to go for takedowns early, but I don't think he's going to like charge in and try and get the hips at all costs. He backs himself on the feet. He's a decent striker, you know, so but I do think his game plan is to put Jack on the ground.
Ben Vickers also shared his thoughts about how Islam will look at welterweight. He noted that while Islam was naturally strong, Jack Della Maddalena was the bigger man and carried more power on the feet. Vickers explained that moving up a division after years at lightweight could affect Islam's speed, movement, and cardio. Even though Islam had time to prepare for the added weight, Vickers admitted it was hard to predict how well his strength and style would translate against a true welterweight.
It's going to be fascinating to see what Islam looks like at this weight class. What do you think? Do you think a lot of his power, a lot of his strength translates to the division with Jack?
It's so hard to tell, to be honest. He's a big dude. He's a good fighter, you know. Jack's bigger. Jack's probably stronger. He's got more power on the feet. But I don't know what kind of fighter he's going to be. What I do know is that as a fighter who's fought at 70 his whole career, this is going to be his first time in a very competitive matchup at welterweight, and it's different. It's a different, you know, it's going to be different for him. He's carrying more weight, and obviously he's had months now to prepare for this and get used to carrying the weight, but he's been fighting at lightweight for a decade. You know, so to then move up a weight class, it is different. And I don't know how that's going to affect his gas tank, his ability to move as well.
Meanwhile, Khabib Nurmagomedov says Jack Della Maddalena is the toughest opponent Islam Makhachev has faced in his career. He mentions that he has been following Jack for a long time and sees him as a dangerous striker with excellent technique. Khabib also points out that Jack has already beaten top wrestlers and handled those challenges well. He believes that makes this fight Islam's biggest test to date.
Бой Ислам Макачев против Магдалены. От тебя прозвучало о том, что это будет самый тяжелый бой в карьере Ислама. Почему? Ну, мы не можем сразу все карты раскрывать, потому что наши соперники тоже нас слушают. Но скажу так, что я давно слежу за Мадаленой. Он как боец очень интересный. Тогда, конечно, у меня даже в голове не было насчет боя Ислама и Мадалены, но судя по его скиллам, по его технике, по его ударке, судя по тому, как он защищается против борцов, а он дрался с борцами. Рамазан хорошо борется, Гилберт Бронс хорошо борется.
Khabib Nurmagomedov points out that Jack Della Maddalena has already proven himself against opponents with rage, power, wrestling, and toughness. He highlights Jack's 9-0 run in the UFC and the fact that he trains with the same team that guided Alexander Volkanovski against Islam Makhachev. With that experience and preparation, Khabib considers Jack a serious threat. He views him as one of the most dangerous opponents Islam will meet.
Ребятами, у кого длинные рычаги, тот же Холланд. Ну, то есть он дрался и с борцами, и с ударниками, и с физически крепкими ребятами. Он такой, знаешь, проверку прошел, 9-0 UFC чемпион. У него та команда, которая готовила Волконовского на Ислама. Вот это все вместе, если сопоставить, я вижу в нем очень грозного соперника.
And Islam Makhachev slightly agrees with Khabib Nurmagomedov that Jack Della Maddalena is the toughest test of his career so far. He notes that Jack's size makes him a different kind of a challenge compared to fighters like Volkanovski or Poirier. While he respects Jack's striking threat, Islam makes it clear he won't allow him the space to use it. Instead, he plans to push the pace, wear him down, and take over the fight with his grappling control.
Khabib сказал, что твой бой с Маддаленой будет очень сложным, а ты видишь, в чем Маддалена превосходит твоих прошлых соперников, например, Волконовский или Порье?
Весом, наверное. Ну, не знаю. Знаешь, как зависит. Если, например, даже вот сейчас про Чимаева бой говорили, если он дал бы ему поработать, то это был бы конкурентный бой. И также и у меня, и у всех. Если дать работать, например, в стойке Маддалене, он может показать хороший бой. Не секрет, я собираюсь его переводить, я собираюсь его контролировать, заставлять его устать, навязывать свой стиль боя.
On the other hand, Alexander Volkanovski expresses excitement over Jack Della Madalena's progress, especially after his impressive victory against Belal Muhammad. He believes that win could serve as the ideal build-up for a fight against Islam Makhachev. Volkanovski highlights Jack's improved ability to defend takedowns and sees this version of him as far more dangerous. In his view, Jack now has the tools to trouble even elite-level wrestlers.
Islam Makhachev is going to be fighting Jack Della Maddalena. How do you think those two match up?
I think Jack's fight against Belal was a perfect fight for leading into that. Just purely, you take a lot out of stop and takedowns, because again, there's every fighter's still going to have little doubts that are going to creep in. You know, I'm sure Jack was going through that, being like, all right, like, you know, worried about, you know, what if he takes me down and all that. But the fact that he was able to stop it and feel so comfortable, I guarantee you he's leveled up again. His confidence in his takedowns has just went up significantly leading into this fight. I think his confidence is going to be at a whole nother level. So through camp, like, I guarantee you if he's back in training right now, people trying to take him down are going to find it almost impossible. You know, only the top guys are going to have a chance of taking him down, and they're going to have a very hard time even holding him down.
Former welterweight champion Belal Muhammad also gives his take in the matchup and predicts Islam Makhachev will use his grappling and discipline style to keep control over Jack Della Maddalena. He points out that Islam's ability to stay committed to his game plan is one of the biggest strengths. Belal admits that this is something he has struggled with in his own career, especially in striking exchanges where it's easy to lose focus. He explains that each fight has reminded him of the importance of strategy, patience, and composure inside the cage.
How do you think Islam versus JDM goes down? Honestly, I think Islam will probably take it down. Like, Islam's wrestling really good. Like, even with me, I like really committed to it, I took it down. Their team's so good at like hacking in a game plan and sticking to it.
You said that you kind of abandoned the game plan a little. You think if you got a rematch, you would change the game plan a bit?
No, I mean, honestly, I think I won three rounds, but you have to go out there and make it more clear. When you get into the cage and you're fighting, right, you get into that, oh, like, all right, I feel like striking it. Let's keep going. I was doing well with it. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. If your coach is trying to get you to focus on the game plan again, it's like, man, I'm doing well with it. You're thinking you're doing better than you are. Every fight, you gain something from it, right? This fight, I gained something from it.
Belal Muhammad also mentions the idea of facing Islam Makhachev in the future, but makes it clear his attention is on the fight in front of him. He says the championship remains his ultimate goal, yet right now all that matters is taking care of business in his next matchup. Belal stresses that earning the win first is the only way to put himself in position for a title shot.
Belal, another question. So if Islam beats Jack in the box, Would you fight Islam for the belt?
It's my belt, so for me, I got to work my next opponent. So after I get my next win, then I can talk about the belt.
What's your prediction for Islam and JDM?
I think it just comes down to if Islam can get it to the ground. If it gets it to the ground, I think Islam will be levels above him on the ground and could catch a submission, but you got to get it there first.
Chael Sonnen also talks about Islam Makhachev's fight with Jack Della Maddalena in New York and says it is a matchup people shouldn't underestimate. He believes the fight is much closer than many are making it out to be, and Sonnen explains that while Islam usually gets treated like a star, this time it is Jack who comes in with freedom and less pressure. He finds it unusual that the champion is facing more doubt than the challenger heading into the bout.
Islam is headed to Madison Square Garden to fight Jack Della Maddalena, according to Khabib.
We have deal with them. He's gonna fight in Madison Square Garden, and they say yes.
It's a lot closer match than you think it is. We understand Islam. He's the most famous Muslim athlete in the world. He's going for basically a history maker. We don't question him. Jack is the one being questioned. How in the hell are you gonna question the guy with the belt?
Meanwhile, Islam Dulatov warned fans against assuming Islam Makhachev will cruise through the fight. He points out that Jack Della Maddalena's power and frame at welterweight make him a serious threat. According to Dulatov, the matchup demands smart planning and flawless grappling if Makhachev is to come out on top. He believes the fight will be far more difficult than many expect.
It's going to be an easy fight for Islam, but I don't think that it's going to be that easy. I think Islam going to win, but I don't think it's going to be an easy fight for him, like everybody thinks. Because Islam is maybe big for lightweight, but he's not big for welterweight.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? That's why I would say, like, I don't know, he don't look for me so big.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's just on pictures or whatever, but actually, you know, I think JDM has a lot more of weight than him. But at the end of the day, I think JDM has better striking, and Islam has for sure the better ground game. And I think.
And so, that's all for today's video. What do you think about this epic matchup between JDM and Islam? Would love to hear your predictions and thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and make sure to check out our other videos for more awesome MMA content.